Welcome back to M Hood Fishing, everybody. It is just past 3 a.m. in the morning. As you saw, the bike is just plastered with grass seed, inchworms, and other things, grasshoppers, because I had to ride through a jungle to get here to the canal. Mostly we're going to be crabbing. We will do some fishing. I did bring 2 rods for that. Don't expect much from that though, because this is the full moon. Actually, literally, it was last night, or you know, we're still in the night. It's still last night, but it's 3 a.m. in the morning, so still a full moon. Though today is the 11th, and the 10th was the actual day of the full moon. I don't really ever find the fishing to be that great during the full moon. Usually the day before, the day of, and the day after are not very good. But however, there are a couple of activities that can be really good during the full moon. One of them being crabbing and the other being shrimping. We're going to get some crabs, but we're not getting them so much to boil, you know, for the table. I am getting them for bait, getting ready for sheep's head season. So by the end of this video, if we do good, I'm going to show you how I'm going to preserve my crab and then put it in the freezer and have it for later for sheep's head and other things. I've got 2 different kinds of bait. I've got fish and I've got chicken. I brought out 6 nets. Here we have a ladyfish, really soft, but we're gonna put it in. First, we're gonna make a cut here, open it up a little bit, put it down on the ground. I'll show you what I'm doing. Just to cut it up, just to open it up so the crabs can get the scent and get at it. That bait's probably not gonna last too long, but it's something I wanted to get out of the freezer. We've got some shower rings here on the first net. All of my nets have these shower rings. We're just going to take the ring, get it through the fish's mouth and out the gills, and clip it back. Here I have a skipjack, and I've done the same thing, but it worked out a little better this time. Just gonna leave it flapping like that, hook it up the same way. Next bait, drumsticks. All right, so you take the shower ring and you run it through the meat. It's best to have it going through the skin as well. Go through the skin, into the meat, and out the skin again, and then close it. Not only did I have to ride through a jungle, but I got to walk through one too, and my rope is stuck on my bike. I haven't been to this spot in a bit of time. Doesn't look like they've mowed since then either. So it's pretty high here. The canal's almost all the way up to this bulkhead that is right here in front of us. I'm gonna put 2 nets over here. Wow, I wish they would cut this stuff. I actually only brought the 1 rod for catfish and another rod for perch jerking, but that's not going to happen till later. I brought some shrimp down here to fish with. Some shrimp I needed to cycle out of the freezer. Got us a 6-aught. I'm just going to hook it twice, bring it through like that, just throw it out there, see what happens. All right, let's just sit down, wait for a little bit, and check the nets. I tried to come out and do this yesterday and the day before, but the weather held me back. Today, this morning, Sunday morning, with the full moon and no clouds, it's pretty chill. It's not supposed to be any rain today. And because there's no clouds, you can see pretty good without the headlamp. But who's to know if anything's going to come of this? Let's check the nets I put out first. Nothing. Net number 2, nothing. Finally, got a crab. Because I'm keeping them for bait, I don't necessarily need them to be big. I won't keep like really small ones, but that's a good size for bait right there. First one too. I've checked the nets a few times already. Yeah, he's not big, but I can get at least 2 small pieces of bait off him. I got really bored because it's going really slow, so I started throwing the net right off the bulkhead. There's a lot of shad. These are all about that size. Maybe this one here is the bigger one. we're gonna go ahead and right behind the head put him on. Maybe for good measure we'll put a second one on, maybe a third one. And that'll be about it. As for the rest of these, I'm gonna go ahead and take my scissors and just start chopping them up and throwing them right out in front of us in the area of the two nets in front of me. There is a slight current going towards the river. This will be a good chum to just kind of prime the area a little bit, because it is going slow, so I got to do something to increase our odds of catching crabs. Haven't had a bite yet on the catfish line that's out. Look at this, guys. Look at the size of that. A ship just went by. That is what we would call a number one right there. Nice. He absolutely dwarfs the first one we got. That is really nice. Here's number three. Not a big one, but get at least 2 pieces of bait off that. We are well into pre-dawn now, and it's still slow. Sunrise is around the corner. I've been spreading the nets out to try and cover more ground. It's not really paying off, but 3 crabs is definitely some bait. The little ones, those 2 little ones, you can get 2 pieces off of each one of them. And then the big one here, give some light. That big one might give me 4 pieces. Gotcha. Ah, little channel cat. There's a lot of these little channel cats down there. I stopped throwing the cast net because of that reason. Tired of picking them out. Oh, look at that. There we go. Gotcha. Ah, it's a little catfish again. I was hoping to catch something like a gill or something, because I see that the chicken in the crab nets is not getting any love, but the fish is getting some. There we go. Oh, cichlid. Well, we could try that. Hopefully it's not a small channel cat again. Could very well be though. Oh, nope. There we go. Ho ho ho. We've got us a debacle here. We've got number 4 and a turtle. So we got to get the crab out. And this is the first one, I think, for the chicken too, right? Let's see if we can dump the crab without the turtle. I threw a piece of chicken out on that catfish rod. Getting a bite. Obviously we're getting a bite, but I'm beginning to wonder if that's a fish. Might be a crab. It did not bring a scoop net or any kind of landing net. I could try to reel him in slowly, but probably not going to get him. Oh, I think this is actually a fish. I set the hook. Now what do you know? I tried shrimp, shad, and then chicken, and chicken got me something. Okay. It's not big. Wonder if it's a channel or a blue cat. we go. All right. And just drop them back in. It's just now after 8 o'clock. I really need to get these crabs home before it gets really hot. Before I freeze these, I need to prepare them. You should never, ever freeze blue crab whole if you intend to eat them, or if you intend to fish with them as bait. If you do that, even when they're frozen, the bacteria is going to start to set in and start the decay process, and it'll just come out soft. This process should be the opposite. First thing you want to do is grab them with some tongs, get that pincher out of the way, drop it. This is one of the small ones. We're going to take these scissors, cut the legs off. You don't want to pull the legs or try to break them off, because you'll end up pulling precious meat out that you need for your bait. To crack the crab, you want to first get this piece of the abdomen out of the way, and then with your thumbs get in here. This is from the back. And there you go. It takes a little bit of elbow grease at first, but then it pops off. These little things right here, those are the lungs. You can take them off or leave them. I usually just leave them. And I break that in half, and now I have 2 baits. I can take my scissors and trim little bits of the shell that are there. And there we go. We'll put that right in my strainer. See, we trim this up a little bit, take some of that excess shell off. See your sockets and everything right here? This is where the legs were. See, if you would have pulled those legs, you would have pulled that meat out. This is going to be fun. The bigger ones can be a little bit trying to crack. And there we go. All right, when you're cutting your cracked crab down to 2 pieces, you want to be mindful that you're leaving at least 2 sockets, because that's what you're going to put your hook through. If you only have 1, well, you're only going through 1. That does work, by the way, but it's better if you can run it through 1 socket and out the other if possible. Might not be able to do it with that one, but with this one with the 3 sockets, could even cut this bait down even more. But that's what we're going to go with right now. And here we go. I got 10 pieces of bait here. So I've never actually done this before. This is my first time. But before getting here, I did a lot of research to find the best way to freeze this bait without it going soft. So I found it, and it took me a while, and it's kind of a combination of 2 things that people do. A lot of people on the East Coast take kosher salt to cure their bait when they freeze it. Not iodized, but kosher salt. And I don't know why yet, but that's what they do, kosher salt. And then quite a few people do this. I believe there are people who even do both. So we are going to salt this bait and vacuum seal it, and I think it's going to be fine, because I've heard a lot of anecdotal stories of good results doing this combination here. Here's my bag. I'm going to pour some salt. There isn't anywhere where someone says you need this much salt. What people do say is that you need to cover your bait with salt. Not just get it salted, but actually we got to cover this. So it's going to take a little bit of salt. We are going to kind of try to get that nice and even. I'm calling that good. What the salt is supposed to do is firm up the meat. I just hope that the seal holds. Look how close everything is to that seal there. Should work. And it worked. Nice, nice. Can't wait to try this. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I will see you next time.